Hello, 7th graders. We are going to be covering section 5.2 from the book for this video, and that is doing the solving percent problems using proportions. Oh, thought you'd never probably have to do proportions again, I bet, but guess what? They're here again. So first of all, we need to remember what the steps are that we use to solve a proportion. And remember when we did that, you got to write a proportion first of all. Remember that a proportion is really, proportion means equal, proportional means equal, so like 1/2 equals 3/6, because if I reduce 3/6, it reduces down to 1/2. Okay, it's the same thing. So when we write a proportion, you're going to write the total amount that you're talking about will always go on the bottom of the fraction. So then you're going to cross multiply, you'll set the answers equal to each other, you'll solve for the variable, and then if you have to, you'll change the decimal to a percent. And I'm going to go through all the steps right now, but I just wanted to cover that real quick just to kind of get that fresh in our minds again. So if I want to solve this question, it says what percent of 92 is 23? So I need to figure out, first of all, how I'm going to write this as a proportion. So 23 out of how many? What is my total here? My total is 92 because it says of 92, right? So 23 out of 92 equals, and I'm trying to figure out what percent it is. And if you remember from the other day when we were talking about percents are always compared to 100, right? So my total for my percent should always be 100. So then what's missing is what percent this is. So that's how I know the x is up here. It's not the 100 that's missing, and I have both of these two numbers. So now I'm just going to go through my steps. So 23 times 100 is 2,300. 92 times x is 92x. Then I'm just going to go ahead and solve for the x, right? It says solve for the variable. So 2,300 divided by 92. So let's see. I'm just going to go ahead and divide like normal here. See if we can get an answer. And that's going to go in there evenly. So my answer is 25 25%. All right. So there's my percent. And the reason I don't need to, you know how usually like when you divide, you got to move it 2 to the right to make it a percent? You don't need to because you've already done this times 100 thing right here. So it's like it's saving you a step almost doing it that way. So then how about this one? This one is written a little differently, but it's the same concept. So what is 40% of 15? So now this time they give me the 40%. So I know that I have 40% out of my 100%, right? Up here I had 100 for my total. Here I have 100 for my total of 15. So that is the total. I'm trying to figure out what part of 15 is 40%. Like they have to equal each other. So again, crisscross, 40 times 15 is 600. 100 times x is 100x. Well, this one's going to be a little easier. It goes in there nice and neat. Divide by 100. So my x equals 6. You could check that. Does 6 out of 15 equal 40%? Take your 6 and divide it by your 15. Does it equal? It's going to be 0.4, and then you go 2 to the right, and it'd be 40%. So it does work. And there is one more type of problem, this one. So 40% of what is 15? So it's written differently. You have to pay very close attention to where it says is, where it says of. Of is usually the total. So again, they're giving me the percent. So I know I have 40 out of 100%. So that's the exact same as it was up here, but this part's going to change. Is 15. So that's my answer. Of what? I don't know. 15 is, right? 40% of what? I don't know. That's what you need to figure out. So 40 times x is 40x. 100 times 15 would be 1,500. And then, again, your last step is to divide that out. Oops, that's a 2 right there, 0. So I have a decimal right there, 37.5. And I don't need to change it to a percent. It's not asking me for a percent. It says 40% of what? Of a number. 37.5. If you took this 15 and put 37.5 over the top, right, and divided it back out, you would get 40%. So 3 different types of problems, but you're still doing them all the same way. See how I'm using every single one as a proportion here? And then I'm just solving the proportion. I'm crisscrossing, setting them equal to each other, dividing it out, and getting your answer. So bring that knowledge with you for tomorrow.